This is the call to order. No minutes are available. There's no guests. Director's report.
Yeah, I want to apologize. I just didn't get it done until about an hour ago, so I was not able to email it to you.
Hot off the presses, huh?
Hot off the presses, yep. Do you want me to give you a minute to read through it, or you want me to just go through it?
Yeah, I was at the meeting last night.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And
The summer reading
it was an
kickoff
enthusiastic
crowd.
Good but not great pizza.
Arthur!
I don't know. I had a piece.
Well, the event went really well,
Yeah.
and we're thinking we had at least 250 people.
Yeah, there were a lot of
This
them.
was the
There were a lot of
this was the
Yeah.
summer reading kickoff
Yeah.
last night. Is that right?
Yes, we had the summer reading kickoff, and this year we did it a little differently. We decided instead of having the summer reading kickoff as more of a children's event, which was what we've done in the past, Jenny Kinder came up with the idea of making it a whole family event, because we do have the adult, the teen, and the children's summer reading program. And so she decided that let's try doing it as a big kickoff and have it a family event at 5:30. And it was a great idea because we saw so many more dads that were able to come, and working moms and families. And it was great. We everybody we had a beautiful day with pizza outside on the covered area there, and we had John O'Neill, who was a great entertainer, got all the kids up and dancing, and
I
also
danced.
Did
too.
you dance?
Well, I hopped up and down in the corner.
I would have gone to see that.
It would have been ugly.
The other part that was great is she invited the town council, and I was really happy to see that a number of them came, and it was great to meet them. I hadn't met all of them, and they were...
4 showed, right?
I think there were 4,
Yeah.
and it was great to see them talking to everybody, and people were glad to know that they were there, and I thought it was just a great, a
worked out
great
very
way
nice.
for them to see the library, and anyway.
Well, there was a lot of enthusiasm. I saw from the Friends group, I saw Darcy Kane.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
I saw her in the morning. I've been gone, as you know, for a week, and I was back. I was at Big Y in the morning, and I saw her, and we stopped and had a nice chat. And she said, "Well, maybe I'll see you tonight at the summer reading kickoff." And I said, "The what?" No, but she was very enthusiastic, and I sensed that it was going to be a good meeting. So
It was, and I would just like to say that the kickoff was a big success due to the efforts of Jenny Kinder, our children's librarian, her staff, Kay McCormick, Michelle Lemire, and Samantha Cardoni, who are the most awesome children's staff ever. And I'd also like to thank our adult services librarian, Lindsay Johnson. She did an awesome job on the adult reading program. I mean, everything looks so professional, and people are signing up, and
Beautiful.
she did a great job. So, and also LCAT was there filming. Yep.
And you got interviewed, right?
Not me, Jenny.
Jenny.
Je-
Okay.
This was
Jenny's
Jenny's
show.
That's
Okay.
what everybody said. This is Jenny's show, and Jenny and Lindsay actually got interviewed. So
Good.
look for that on LCAT.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I have is today we met with the town health director, Amy Petrosky, and she came over to talk to us because the library, we did have to get a permit for the food because we were having food in the library. And I think that in the past Susan Peterson did get permits, but it was not something that we were aware of. So just to make sure we're doing everything correctly, I invited Amy to come over and sit down and talk with us about what is permitted and what isn't, as far as having food in the library without getting a town permit, or, you know, what the rules are, so that we do everything correctly. And she was very helpful, and there were some little areas she's gonna look into, and then she's gonna try to set up a way to help us, you know, streamline the whole process of getting a permit when we need one, because we do have food in the library for a lot of our events. So I just want to say thank you to Amy. She's really making everything easy for us. And Amy, I learned at another meeting with Amy that there is now a town part-time nurse, and you might be more familiar with this than I am, but her role is, she's part-time, and she is a part of the Maven network, and her role is to communicate between the state and the town when there is any kind of a outbreak of a communicable disease. And, you know, that is her role, is to notify the town and get the word out, and as far as I understand, but that's a new role in town. So I don't know if you've ever heard of that, the Maven. It's the Massachusetts.
I've been out 10 years, and things happen.
Oh, that's true, I know.
I don't know. I don't try to follow this stuff.
Massachusetts Virtual Epidemiological Network. Say that fast.
Well, you know, increasingly these public health measures are frightening. Zika is adding to it, even though we're not likely to experience it here too much. But it's very much in the news now, and wasn't in the past. And there's therapies for everything, and there weren't in the past. Good.
So,
Bill Kaplan. How many Bill Kaplans are in town?
I don't know, but I just know Bill Kaplan from the Rotary. And
Has he been around for years?
He has been here working with the Rotary for a number of years, and it was great to meet him. He came over and met with Jenny and I. And every year the Rotary donates a book for every speaker that they have. They give the speaker a list and ask them to choose a children's book, and then they donate that book to the library, and then we put a little book plate in it, which is something they've done for years, I guess, and it's a really nice thing for them to do, and we appreciate that. So, yeah, it was great to meet him. He invited us to come to the Rotary Club meetings if we'd like to speak at the Rotary Club meeting. So,
Okay.
yep. Other than that, I guess we did kind of skip over the library finances there.
So, why don't you proceed then?
Okay, so we're in pretty good shape. The book budget, we have spent right down to we've spent all of our money. So we have not been placing any orders for this month, which has been okay. We've allowed us to catch up on other projects, but we will start ordering again July 1st. And our other funds are all in good shape, and I've worked with the town accountant to make adjustments where they needed to be made in the salary budget, so that it all makes more sense. We had to wait for her to come back from maternity leave, and since she's been back, we've had some meetings and gone over quite a bit of things, and she's been really helpful, showing Carol Gallietta and I new and better ways to track our expenses. And I think next year, the end of the year work to balance everything out will be much easier, because we're going to
Good.
kind of tweak the way we do things.
Well,
a little bit.
that's good
She's
news.
been very, very helpful.
Is it an oversimplification to say, since we're at the end of our fiscal year, that there are no surprises in the year-to-date budget, and that we're effectively at or on budget, and subject to the adjustments as we anticipated for the salary expenses?
Exactly.
I think that's great, and I think it's great that you're working closely with the town accountant.
Mm-hmm.
I would move we accept the extract of the munis report dated 6/21/16 as submitted.
I'm not sure if we're not in session officially, whether
Okay.
these votes count, but we could I'll give my approval, or second the motion, and put it to a vote. We all agree that others can put it together.
Okay.
Library director search, I think we were talking before, not recorded, but for the record, I want to say that I've contacted 2 of the 3 applicants and told them about how their request or application are still in force, and that I had spoken to each candidate and now each member of the council, and they all agree that our committee efforts are to be honored with a priority and without the need to rerun the entire search. I told them each member, and they seem to agree, that it would be very hard to put together a committee as experienced with library hiring and with Mass Mutual experience. It would be hard to put together a committee that would be as effective and thorough as we have been. But of course, that doesn't mean our candidate is going to be ideal. But I don't think they can do better. And they think that too.
Good job, Mark.
That's nice to hear.
That's,
Yes.
we'll see what happens.
Well, keep us posted.
We need to speak to Sia Stewart. And we're working on plans, as you've already heard, to be sure everybody actively involved in the search can vote with knowledge and enthusiasm.
Good.
I think that's all the news I have. I'm going to call Ms. Stewart tonight, I expect. If I don't get through, I'll call tomorrow during the day. Promises, promises. I think we're ready for the Friends news.
Well, I hope you received, I did a little bit in advance. Every year in June, they always have the annual potluck supper. It's kind of a part of the finale for the year. And so they did meet on Monday, June 6th at 7 o'clock. And we now have a full board of directors. And I think you might remember in the past I said we had 2 vacancies. Well, Andrea Gray, who's a retired 3rd grade teacher, she joined the board. So anyway, so we have a full board now. And let me see, Lindsay via Sharon had made a $190 request to help finance just a portion of the adult summer reading program. That's my understanding.
Actually, that was pretty much what it cost.
It was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was unanimous. I don't know if
That
the
was
friends.
easy.
I don't know. Yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
And then let's see. And the discussion really was more trying to get some fresh ideas as to how the Friends can become more, their presence be known in the community, because it appears that, people are unaware of the work they do behind the scenes in order to have some of these great programs that do take place at the library. So it's was just more discussion. What could we do? How can we obtain more members, new members, people with new and fresh ideas, because I hope I say this correctly, but a lot of us are veterans, let's put it that way. And so we're looking for, maybe younger vitality and new ideas.
New ideas.
Yeah, new ideas and so forth. So that was discussed, as well as what their tentative schedule of fundraisers and events are going to be for next year. And they always do that at their June meeting. And July and August, they take a break. Maybe that's when we freshen up on some new ideas. And their next scheduled meeting is for Monday, September 12th. There's 362 members at this time, and always looking for new ones. And
Well,
that's about it.
I remember the target being 400 members,
Yeah.
and it seems to me like you're closing in on it. There's only 38 members to go.
Yeah.
So maybe if you could get a couple of big families to join. But that's great. That's good, and I know there's a lot of enthusiasm, and it's out there in the community. Don't sell yourself short. People know what you're doing, and the good that you're doing, and there is a measure of excitement, and I see it with my son and his wife, who are younger married people with young children, and in that cohort, there's a lot of library lovers and a lot of people who appreciate what the Friends do. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
And as I told you, I talked with Marcy Kane. There's nobody who has more enthusiasm than Marcy. So that's good. So that's great.
I mean, she came up with a great idea, something new for us to try this
Oh
year.
yeah,
and
I know it.
try to get the kinks out for next year.
Well, that's
and
right.
That's what it's all about.
She's good, and she's exactly the kind of person you need on that kind of a operation. I know. So that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that it?
Yeah, there are other things to discuss. I'm not sure that we can take intelligent action, but thank you for that. But we need to decide what our purposes are going to be as a committee and how we relate to the Friends in upcoming months, and how we relate to Sharon or her successors. We're just going to have to feel our way, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
Our role as advisors will really not impact the Friends, as far as I can tell. It might. And based on my discussions with some Eastern Mass things, your relationship with the board will be one of your choice. You can do whatever. There are no restraints on the relationship, as far as I know. You can choose to ignore, or you can choose to accept. And that's been the battle in several places in Eastern Mass, as you know, in which the town has advised the director, ignore the board. They have no weight to carry around. So the question is whether we ought to have monthly meetings. It's up to us to decide. And what we do there, I think, is going to, because the policies were recently done, and that would be our main focus, in addition to making comments about things that come up, like people protesting what's on the shelves and things like that. Will be the relationship to the town from the library, but that would really, the Friends would be functioning kind of in parallel with us. So we might not have much influence in that direction, but we'd have a voice. So how often should we meet needs to be discussed, or chosen, I guess. I'm interested in thoughts and ideas on that point.
Probably it'd be a good, it may make a long, hot summer even longer and hotter if we're to go back and think about it over the next 2 months, but I would favor taking July and August to think about it, and then as we reconvene after Labor Day, maybe have it as an agenda item and talk it through among the entire board. And I would agree with you wholeheartedly and 100%. Our role has has been changed by vote, and none of us know exactly what we're going to be asked to do, but we do know that we're not going to be involved in management of the library, and that will be designated or delegated to the new town manager, and he or she will be responsible for all operations of the library, and we are, as I see it, going to be performing an advisory role. And what that advisory role is and how we do it is going to be up to us and up to the new town manager. And I would like to think about it. I don't have any ideas right now. I know how we've been functioning. We've been functioning pretty well. And I don't know how we're going to function in the future, but we should think about it before we present anything, and I would not want to present anything that wouldn't be approved by the new town manager. So that's my opinion, Art. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that or not, but I think we have to think about it.
Thoughts?
I would like to have either the town manager or the town council, somebody come to one of our meetings as well to explain, or we'll have to go to them to explain what our roles are, too, to help determine how often we should meet and so forth, and how often do we need to look over our policies.
There are two ways of doing it, aren't there?
Yeah.
You can go to them and say, what is it you want us to do?
Yes.
Or we could go to them and say, this is what we think we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know which approach is the better approach.
Yeah.
They both would work fine.
Yeah.
But maybe that's part of what certainly I would think about over the next 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're also still, because we're still still elected,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and we have a responsibility to sense community annoyance or success of the library and report
Mm-hmm.
among ourselves or to Sharon or other directors what we hear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure the Friends are set up to do that particularly, although they certainly could if they wished. But that needs to be our role. The second role is that we need to contribute to, I guess, what we call the transition.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be a long time before they find a full-time manager. They're going to take at least a year, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And the interim requires the vote. If they're to hire, the interim manager requires the approval of the town council
Okay.
to hire. I'm not sure whether it's just a majority or unanimous or what. They can set those rules. But I think we need somebody on the town council that we can have as a go-to person during this moment. I'm going to ask them if they would assign somebody at their
I
first
think that's a
meeting.
great idea.
Somebody we can complain to. The building, there's no electricity and nobody will answer our call.
Yes.
You know, Arthur, I was thinking about one of the candidates that you had asked this candidate, how do you see your ideal relationship with your trustees? And I liked her answer because she said that she liked the idea that you were here, the board was here, when an issue comes up and she needs to have the advice of people who have been in business or, who have experience, and so she liked the idea, and I would too, and I would think the next director would too, would like the advice, the ability to come to her board, his board, to ask, advice, and how would you handle this situation or that situation? How do you want, this is your library, this is your town.
I think that's good.
So-
I think you should be able to call on us to have a meeting.
Great. I think that being an advisory board, I know I know that the management of the hiring and firing has been taken away from the board, but I don't think you should minimize the importance of being there as an advisory board. I think that's very important.
No, I agree.
Absolutely.
So
You have captured it, and I would hope that over time, that's what we should end up doing and being.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then should we schedule meetings for July and August on an as-needed basis? Or should we
Well,
just schedule them and see who shows?
when I got, thank you, Sharon, for being proactive and asking, I saw on your notes that the schedule for the next meeting. I checked my wife's calendar, as you know, she's in charge.
I have no idea what that's like. No idea at all.
You are unbelievable.
Come on.
You are unbelievable, and of course I believe every word you say. But I unfortunately will be out of town on both July 13th and July 27th, and I can be available should we want to have a meeting on July 20th.
13.
Oh, I lied. I said it exactly the wrong way. I will be available on July 13th or July 27th. I will be not available on July 20th. God, why do I do that?
I'm on vacation the week of that 20th.
Okay, so
I'm on vacation the week before.
so how does the July
What the heck?
27th?
I'm going to say I'm on vacation.
How does July 27th look to everyone then?
Well, that works
That
fine
might
with
be fine, and
me.
if there are no issues, maybe.
Let's schedule it, and
Okay.
we do have that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
We have made adjustments if necessary.
Yep.
So, but as far as scheduling it,
Yeah.
if we schedule it for July 27th, at least we know we've got a few of us.
I'll let Ginny know.
And
I'm
David
gonna-
too.
Yeah, I'm going to call Ginny tonight, I think, too.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure she's,
Well,
yeah,
I'll
that'd be
let
good.
Cindy and David know, and, yeah, I'll email them tomorrow. Well, they'll
Better write the 27th.
make sure, yeah.
You need a piece of paper?
I got to.
Oh, you do have a calendar. And then
I have a
maybe-
Canadian calendar.
Maybe
Is that
once
the
we
thing?
have a fuller a meeting, we can work the
Sure.
calendar for the year.
Sure.
It's worked out terrifically well for me anyway by booking these things ahead,
Yeah.
and I find that I'm much more effective if I can if I can schedule without having to juggle all sorts of crazy stuff, you know.
Summer gets to be pretty hectic.
Summers are tough, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they are. They are tough. I think that's the Friends decided
why
to do
they-
their hiatus.
Yeah, they take a break.
Take a break.
Historically,
'cause-
many of the boards have done the summer hiatus in this town, just for
Yeah.
that reason.
Yeah.
And it isn't because people don't want to get work done, it's just that they're unable to get work done because people have family and other commitments. And it's a fact of life, unfortunately.
I think we're going to have issues on that hiring, I think. And I do want to mention discussions that we've had, and I think it probably should be done on an executive basis. I just want to discuss something that had come up about one of the candidates. I wanted to express myself
Tonight,
tonight. Can I do
Okay.
that?
why not?
Okay. And then we can adjourn after that, troubled by one thing that we've discussed a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay.
So you would like a motion to adjourn?
To go into executive
Motion to
committee
go into executive
and
session
then adjourn
to
when we're
discuss
done.
matters of hiring, of
Yeah.
a hire, or hiring.
Yes.
And only
hiring
to
issues.
reconvene to adjourn. I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll second.
So
I'll
moved.
agree.
So
Charlie
We'll
Gray
do it.
votes yes.
Art McGuire votes yes.
Diane Tiago says yes.